All right, let's talk about taking a legend and making it something else entirely. Today, we're diving into what happens when you grab an icon of Japanese performance, the Nissan Skyline R32 GTR, and just push it to the absolute edge. And I mean way past the edge. This thing isn't just a modified car anymore, it's a monster. So yeah, let's get right into it. And when I say they pushed it past its limits, I'm not kidding. The very first thing you need to wrap your head around is this number. Over 1,400 horsepower. Just let that sink in. That's not just fast, that's straight up hypercar territory. But here's the kicker, what really makes that number so insane. We're not talking about some brand new multi-million-dollar supercar here. Nope. All of that insane raw power, it's all stuffed inside the body of a classic, a 1990 Nissan Skyline. Wild, right? So, you gotta be wondering, right? How in the world do you take a beloved classic car and turn it into a 1,400 horsepower Titan? Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty and break this whole thing down. Okay, so this absolutely incredible machine, it belongs to a guy named Cee Vann. And for him, this is so much more than just a car. It's not just a pile of expensive parts, it's the end result of a lifelong dream. And you know what? It's a massive statement on wheels. And he's not exactly humble about it, which I love. I mean, his exact words were, "I have one of the baddest R32 GTRs in the US." Now that is a huge claim to make. But trust me, as we're about to see, he has the firepower, the engineering to back it up. But you know, a build this crazy, it's never just about throwing parts at a car. There's always a deeper story, a why. So what was the spark? What was the inspiration behind a project this massive? So let's talk about Cee Vann himself. He's actually a tattoo artist based out of North Carolina. And like so many of us, the R32 GTR was the car for him, his dream car. And this was way before they became the global icons they are today. So yeah, this build, it's deeply personal. And what's really cool, and I think a lot of you will get this, is that his motivation wasn't just, I need to own this car. Not at all. It was about the culture that surrounds it, the community, going on cruises, just hanging out with people who get it, and sharing that passion. That's the fuel that really drove this whole thing. All right, so we've got the why. Now let's get to the really good stuff, the how. It's time to metaphorically pop the hood here and really dig into what it takes to screw together a 1,400 plus horsepower Godzilla. So first things first, let's talk about the outside of the car. Cee Vann's whole philosophy here was to keep it clean. He wanted to hold on to that classic, aggressive Godzilla look that we all know and love, but, add his own unique flavor to make it stand out. And you can totally see that idea at play here. He found this super rare Tommy Kyra front bumper, which is cool enough, but then he had it modified to be a total one-of-one piece. It's paired up with this huge carbon fiber splitter, which is totally functional, by the way, some clean N1 side skirts, and a carbon hood that's been paint matched. Every single part was chosen to look aggressive, but without messing up those classic R32 lines. Okay, let's move on to the main event, the heart of this beast, the engine. And this, my friends, is where things get absolutely wild. Obviously, to make this kind of power, you can't just use the stock engine. This car is running a setup that's legendary in the GTR world. It's called an RB26/30 stroker. So what does that even mean? Well, it's basically the best of both worlds. The bottom half of the engine is a bigger RB30 block that's been bored and stroked out to 3.2 liters that gives you a ton more displacement. And it's all built inside a solid billet block, which is pretty much indestructible. Then, on top of that, you have the legendary RB26 head, famous for how high it can rev, but it's been seriously worked over with crazy cams and a whole new valve train. And the brain running this whole operation? A top-of-the-line Heltec ECU. Now, an engine like that is just begging for air, and boy, does it get it. It's breathing through an absolutely massive Precision 8685 turbo that's bolted to a super high-flow manifold. To keep all that boost in check, there's a giant 60mm wastegate, and where does it all go? Out of 4-inch straight-pipe exhaust that I'm sure is just deafening. Yeah, there is absolutely nothing subtle about this setup. Okay, so making 1,400 horsepower, that's one massive challenge. But the next challenge, and maybe an even bigger one, is how do you get all that power to the pavement without just instantly turning your tires into a giant cloud of smoke? Well, this is how you do it. First, you forget about a regular manual transmission. This thing has a 6-speed Albins sequential gearbox. We're talking lightning-fast, clutchless shifts, pure race car stuff. Then, the power goes through a super light carbon fiber drive shaft to some seriously heavy-duty axles. And to make sure it all hooks up, it's running a full drag suspension that plants those iconic Volks CE28 wheels and the super sticky Mickey Thompson tires wrapped around them firmly into the ground. So that's the laundry list of incredible parts. But, specs on a screen are one thing. The real question is, what does all this incredible hardware actually do? What does it feel like to get behind the wheel and unleash this monster? Well, here's one number that puts it all into perspective for you. The car's personal best time in the quarter mile, a flat 9.0 seconds. A 9.0. To put that in perspective, that is faster than pretty much any production car you can buy today, period. But here's the truly insane part. That 9.0 second pass, hitting 143 miles per hour, that was on low boost. He hasn't even turned the wick all the way up yet. Can you imagine? The car's full, terrifying potential is still untapped. So when you ask him what it's actually like to drive this thing, Cee Vann just nails the description. He says it's like learning how to drive for the first time every time you get behind the wheel. It just demands every ounce of your attention and respect. It's a completely raw, unforgettable experience. But he also keeps it 100% real, with a great sense of humor. His advice for anyone who wants to build something similar? He says, and I quote, "Be ready to cry when you realize how much money you've invested in it." Lol. I mean, it's funny, but it's also a pretty honest look at what it really takes to build a car like this. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's so clear that this GTR is way more than just a pile of expensive parts and some crazy numbers on a dyno sheet. It's really the physical form of a dream that's been made into a very, very fast reality. And as anyone with a project car knows, that reality is a project that's never really finished, right? When they asked him what's next for the car, his answer was perfect. Probably cry even more when I buy more stuff. It really is a never-ending journey, that pursuit of perfection. But at the end of the day, this is what it's really all about. Cee Vann's biggest goal with this whole thing is just to inspire other people. He hopes that when someone sees his car, they get that same feeling he got as a kid when he first saw his dream car. He wants to motivate them to go out and build their own. And that really leaves you with one final thought, doesn't it? What's the dream car you'd build?